all the yogis are practicing Satipatthana Vipassana meditation, 4 foundations of mindfulness. That means setting up of mindfulness, of firmly established mindfulness, or mindfulness firmly established. Satipatthana is translated as foundations of mindfulness, but we must understand that it means setting up of a firm mindfulness or establishing a firm mindfulness. So the practice of establishing firm mindfulness is called foundations of mindfulness. Satipatthana, what is Satipatthana? Sati derives from the root meaning to remember. But sati is a mental factor. It signifies presence of mind, attentiveness to the present, awareness, wakefulness, and heedfulness, rather than the faculty of memory of the past. Patthana means close, firm, and steadfast establishment, application, and setting up. That is Patthana. If you combine sati and patthana, it becomes close, firm, and steadfast establishment of awareness on the object of your observation. So this kind of awareness is also called steadfast mindfulness. The 4 foundations of mindfulness have a single essence: mindful contemplation of natural phenomena. They are differentiated insofar as this mindful contemplation is applying to 4 objects: Kaya, Vedana, Citta, and Dhamma. Body, feelings, consciousness, and Dhamma. Dhamma comprises such factors as the 5 mental hindrances, the 5 aggregates, the 6 senses, and the 6 objects, and the 7 factors of enlightenment, and the 4 noble truths. So sati can be called observing power. Yogi are reporting their experience. You are observing every phenomena occurring at the 6 senses. You can capture the characteristic, function, manifestation, and proximate cause of these phenomena. And what is the characteristics of sati? Mindfulness. Your mindfulness is not wobbling. That is, your mindfulness is of not floating away from the object. Let us see an example. You throw a dry, hollow pumpkin into the water. The cork of pumpkin will pop up and down on the surface of the water. It does not sink. But when you throw the stone into the water, it sinks and plunges into the water. In the same way, you train your mind, you train your mindfulness moment by moment. Your noting mind or observing mind should not skim over the object in a superficial manner. Now you are listening, hearing. When you walk, you are noting, walking, lifting, dropping, and breathing. And breathing, you have to note rising, falling. Your noting mind sink to the object. Your noting mind should sink into the object of your observation, just as when a stone is thrown into the water, it will sink to the bottom. You are watching your abdomen rising and falling as the object of your Satipatthana practice. You try to be very firm, focusing your attention on the main object so that your mind will not skip off. Instead, your noting mind will sink deeply into the process of rising and falling movements of the abdomen. Some meditators, they report their noting mind going concurrently, and they can cut the layer by layer of the movements. Due to your concentration, you can cut the layer and layer of the phenomena. And as your mind penetrates this process, you can comprehend its true nature, tension, pressure, movements, and so on. So the characteristics of mindfulness is apilapana, not wobbly. The function of mindfulness is absence of confusion or non-forgetfulness, asamosa rasa. This means that your noting mind or observing mind should not lose the sight of your observation. Your noting mind should not miss the object, should not forget the object. Your observing mind should not allow the object of your observation to disappear. So the functions of mindfulness is to keep the objects always in view, just as a footballer never lose the sight of the football. In the same way, you never lose your sight of object of mindfulness. Main objects or other objects you never lose. You never forget. And the manifestations of mindfulness is coming face to face with the object and protection. The chief manifestations of mindfulness is confrontation. It sets up the mind directly face to face with the object of observation. Mindfulness manifests as the mind in the state of confronting face to face with an present object or objective field. So we say the human face is the index of his or her character. So if you want to know a person, you have to be face to face with that person and examine his or her face carefully. Then your judgment will be correct. But if you stand at an angle behind or far away from the other person, then you will not be able to distinguish the distinctive nature of his or her face. In the same way, when you are observing the primary object rise and fall of the abdomen, if your mind is really face to face with the rising movement, you will notice different sensation in the rising, such as tension, pressure, heat, coolness, or movement. If your noting mind or observing mind remains face to face with the object of observation for a significant period of time, you can discover a great purity of mind due to the absence of your mental defilements. Most of the yogi experience Tinga Nibhuti, momentary cessation, Tinga temporary nirvana, because your noting mind hits the object correctly. At that moment, there is no thinking, no anger, no desire, no depression, etc. Your mind is pure at that moment. This purity is the result of manifestations of mindfulness, guardianship or protection from attack by the mental defilements, kilesa. With your mindfulness present, mental defilements, attachment, anger, delusion have no chance to enter the stream of your consciousness. And also Buddha said, Satarakina Chitasa Samanagato. A meditator is endowed with every state of mind protected by mindfulness. So your mindfulness is likened to a doorkeeper because it guards the sixth sense door. A doorkeeper does not admit bad and destructive people. The doorkeeper admits only good and useful people. So your mindfulness does not admit unwholesome state, unwholesomeness. Your mindfulness admits only wholesomeness. So by not accepting unwholesomeness, your mind is protected, your mind is purified. During the intensive retreat, you enjoy the kinds of protection many times if your practice is really good. And the proximate causes for the arising of mindfulness are strong perception and the four foundations of mindfulness. In order to be mindful of an object, strong and firm perception of it is necessary. As much as perception is firm, strong, and steadfast, your mindfulness will also be firm, strong, and steadfast. The two functions of perception are the recording and the recognition of formation, irrespective of their wholesome or unwholesome nature. Senior perception is compared to the recording of talks with the help of recorder. The recording takes place regardless of the content or quality of the talks. A clear, high quality recording is a cause for a clear, strong, impressive listening experience when replaying the recording. In the same way, in the meditation practice, a strong, clear-cut perception, that is, noting or labeling of the arising object of observation, is very supportive of strong, clear-cut, steadfast mindfulness. Sometimes you need more momentum, so you put labeling hearing, hearing, seeing, seeing, tasting, tasting, walking, walking, thinking, thinking. If you sincerely label it, you can capture the reality and also it disappear very fast. Another proximate cause for the arising of mindfulness is the four foundations of mindfulness. That is, mindfulness itself is the cause of mindfulness. So in fact, the development of mindfulness is the result of continuous momentum. One moment of mindfulness causing the next mindfulness. This can be compared to the process of acquiring an education, assuming that the student is diligent and does his homework resourcefully. Lessons learned in the lower grades are the cause for learning lessons in the higher grade. Primary school education is the cause for high school education, and then high school education is the cause for medical or engineering education. So mindfulness leads to ever greater and stronger mindfulness. So if you want to develop mindfulness, be mindful all the time. Preceding acts of mindfulness, preceding acts of concentration and wisdom, and succeeding one will become continuous. And then immediacy in the awareness of an object of observation is very important. Nothing should come between the presently arising object and the noting and observing. The arising object and the noting mind should not be separated in time. The observation of the presently arising object should happen at once without any delay. So you need to rush, even you look slow down, everything, but you very rush to capture the object. It is correct. You are more emphasizing the present object to capture. So other things have to be slowed down. So your noting mind should be instant. As soon as the object of observation arises, noting mind should be practiced. You have to note, you have to observe immediately. If your noting and observing mind is delayed, then the object we have already passed. By the time your awareness turns to it. So objects of the past and future cannot be known correctly, And if the attention cannot remain with objects as they arise, then it is no longer vipassana practice. It is no longer dwelling in the reality. But if you capture the presently arising object, you can capture the reality and you can enjoy vipassana. So when two or more processes occur at the same time, it is the phenomena of concurrence, concurrence of the noting and observing mind and the object of your observation is an important aspect of mindfulness. For example, when an object arises, your noting mind falls on the objects simultaneously with its arising, synchronically with the object. So in this Mahasatipatthana discourse, Buddha said that there are four foundations of mindfulness. When you practice vipassana meditation at the retreat, you practice all these four foundations of mindfulness, but you practice them choicelessly and not one after another in the order given in the discourse. That is because when you practice vipassana meditation, you have to be mindful of the object at the present moment. You cannot afford not to be mindful of the object at the present moment. The object at the present moment can be any one of these four. Sometimes the body, sometimes leg, sometimes head, sometimes nose, sometimes buttock, sometimes hand. So sometimes kaya, body, you need to observe. Sometimes feeling sad, feeling happy, feeling pleasant, unpleasant, feeling neutral. Sometimes you observe feeling, sometimes thinking mind, want to be curious, thinking, planning, imagining, reflecting. So chitta, you need to observe. Sometimes Dhamma objects. So you have to take these objects as they come. You have no choice. That is why sometimes Vipassana meditation is called choiceless awareness. That means you have no choice. You just have to take what is presented to you. So you practice these four foundations of mindfulness choicelessly when you practice Satipatthana meditation. Here in the summary, the Buddha taught us how to practice the four foundations of mindfulness. Katame Chattaro, what are the four? Ita bhikkhve bhikkhu kaya kaya nupasi viharati. Herein, a meditator dwells contemplating the body in the body, ardent, clearly comprehending and mindful, overcoming or removing covetousness and grief in the world. It is a very short sentence, but it has many meanings. Kaya kaya nupasi viharati, contemplating the body in the body, that means when you practice mindfulness of the body, you are precise. You contemplate the body in the body, and you do not contemplate the feeling in the body. You do not contemplate the person in the body, and so on. And that body is impermanent, suffering, and non-self. You are contemplating that kinds of body. So you contemplate the body in the body in order to have a precise object. Buddha repeated the word kaya kaya nupasi, vedanasu vedananupasi, jete jetanupasi, dhammesu dhammanupasi. Buddha repeated kaya vedana jeta dhamma in these sentences. So what that means? That means you are precise in your mindfulness of the body, feelings, consciousness, and Dhamma. And when you practice body contemplation, you are ardent. You are clearly comprehending and you are mindful. And with regard to the word ardent, we do not know what other meanings it carries in English. This word is the translation of the Pali words atapi. Sometimes we lose something when we translate from the language to another. Atapi comes from the words atapa. Atapa means heat of the sun. Heat of the sun can heat up things so that things become withered and they may even burn. So in the same way, your effort heats up the mental defilements, desire, anger, etc. And your effort burns these mental defilements up. So it is called atapa in Pali. And the person who has atapa is called atapi. So the person who possesses atapa is called atapi. So atapi means you make real effort, not a slack effort. You make a real effort to be mindful and to clearly comprehend. Sometimes you need to encourage reflecting our body, our Buddha Bodhisattva. When the Buddha stay a Bodhisattva, sat down under the Bodhi tree to practice to become the Buddha. he made a very firm resolution in his mind. May my skin, sinews, and bones remain, and may my flesh and blood dry up, but I may not give up this superhuman effort until I reach Buddhahood. I will not get up from the seat until I reach Buddhahood. I will make every effort to achieve my aim. So that is Bodhisattva resolution, very inspiring. So we are very fortunate what Buddha taught. We can hear and we can accept, we faithfully understand. So we need to encourage ourselves to develop right effort. So such an effort is called the right effort. So to make the right effort means you have to make a really good effort, not a slackening effort. This was Atapi implies all these meanings. The right effort to be understood in this Satipatthana teaching is the right effort. That is one of the 8 factors of the path. Samaditi, Samasankappa, Samawacha, Samakamanta, Samaajiva, Samavayama, right effort. So you may have read, you may have understand about the right effort in other statement. So your right effort means to remove or to avoid unwholesome mental states and to acquire and cultivate wholesome mental states. In order to prevent unwholesome mental states, in order to remove evil states, you need mental effort. If you do not make effort, you cannot remove evil. Effort is very useful in removing unwholesome mental states and also to cultivate wholesome mental states. To develop wholesome mental states, you need effort. If you do not make effort, you do not come here. If you do not want to make effort, you do not go to this retreat at all. So you have been putting a lot of effort. And also in this time, you need a real strong effort to practice moment by moment the 4 foundations of mindfulness. So here also Buddha described meditators as being atapi, ardent. That means you have the kinds of effort that burns up your mental defilements. That is indicated by the word atapi in this Mahasatipatthana text. And also atapi sampajano, clear comprehending. Clear comprehending means clearly seeing whatever objects you put your mind on, you see it clearly. What does clearly mean? You see it thoroughly, you see it your wisdom. So when you concentrate on abdomen, for instance, you see the abdomen clearly, and you see the rising distantly from the falling, and falling distantly from rising of the abdomen. Also, you see rising abdomen disappear and falling, rising, and falling disappear, rising appear. And at that moment, there are only the abdominal movements and the awareness of the movements, no other things to be called a person or an individual. So such understanding is called clear comprehension. When you have clear comprehension about something, you know that things and all its aspect, and also according to the teaching of the Buddha, you know that there are just the things observed. Yes, Rupa, and also the mind that observe, that is Nama. They are only just Nama and Rupa, and there is none other which you could call a person or an individual, a man or a woman. Seeing in this way, you comprehend clearly. So this clear comprehension will come only after some time, not right at the beginning of your practice. But many yogis practice at home daily. It is very supportive. You have been practicing for long, long years. The momentum are gained, momentum are stored in your practice. So you practice mindfulness, but right at the beginning, some yogi may not even see the rising and falling clearly. Sometimes they are mixed together and very vague. Little by little, with the growth of your concentration and practice, you will see the Namarupa mind and more, mind and metta more and more clearly. Then also they are rising and disappearing and so on. So this clear comprehension comes not right at the beginning, but after you have gained some experience. So in order for your clear comprehension to arise, you need one more things, although it is not mentioned in the discourse. So you need one more things, and that is concentration. Without concentration, clear comprehension cannot come. So we will continue next day. Atapi Sambhajano Siddhima. Concentration is missing, but the concentration is there. So we have to stop our discourse for today. By practicing vipassana meditation, by observing every phenomena occurring at the six senses, by noting, sitting, stretching, bending, standing, walking, seeing, hearing, etc., continuously and meticulously, May all yogis be liberated from all suffering. May all meditators realize the real peace in the very near future.